Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Kelsey.
And this is Dixie. And we're Love Hut for Life. For 182 weeks, we've been traveling around the country in this little thing.
That's right, guys. And this week is our last week on a property in South Texas finishing up a bus because this guy is all done with his project. We can't wait to show you. Be sure and tell us what you think in the comments below.
Hello, everyone. This is going to be an awesome week. For any of you that don't know, we travel around the country so that I can help people finish up projects they're working on. Building these DIY rigs is a lot of work, and really you get overwhelmed with it sometimes. This particular one is a bit interesting. So this is an off-grid bus that was started by someone else. He was in the process of doing the conversion on it, adding in all this wainscoting, as well as billeting out this kitchen with a propane stove and a sink and a dinette, and even got started on the guest bedroom, which is this slide-out couch. Unfortunately, he passed away, and his wife has asked me to come finish the project for him. So I've done my best to replicate what I think he was attempting to achieve. Obviously, I'm going to make some changes for myself because I just don't know. I've installed a water heater in this one. We have this hub here that is where all of our electronic components come to, all the little controls and gadgets and what have you. A 12-volt television. A really awesome bathroom with cedar walls, as well as a cedar sink pedestal and a little stool to sit there as well. I've also put in a flushing toilet that goes to a black holding tank underneath the bus. Check it out, it even has a bidet on it. In the back, we have the master bedroom with some cute little storage that I've did from reclaimed wood. All of this wood on the countertops I've built with here. Pallet wood. We have dry storage under here and around the front. There's a battery stored under there. The stock air conditioning and heaters were left in this bus as well, so I've been building around those. We have our 12-volt water pump system, as well as a way to actually pressure into the bus so you can circumvent the pump for when it's parked. This bus is going to be used as a Airbnb at some point for its life. So I had to accommodate for that, as well as a way to hook up the electrical system using an inverter converter style system. This is the headboard here. It's all completely removable so that all the water system is accessed. So this is the back of our shower and sink in the bathroom. And the rest of the plumbing makes a quick run down the side of the bus. And all the panels going down are removable so it's accessible as well. I'm going to be piecing this thing together this week. Last week I took some time off and went to the beach waiting on some parts to come in, but they're here and it's time to tackle this puppy. Let's go. So I thought I'd share with you when I was on what I'm calling the back side of the bus. The panels are still left along the skirting here. Behind that grating is the air conditioning unit, which is why no tanks were placed on this side. There wasn't very much room to mount any tanks. Usually you would mount all your gray and black tanks on the driver's side of the vehicle because that's where the RV dump stations are generally when you're at a campground. But this one, it just wasn't in the cards for it, and we decided to make both dumps on the wrong side versus one dump on one side and one dump on the other side. But why I'm back here is, to my knowledge, this bus does not run, and I'm going to give it a try. I'm cleaning up all of the terminals on this one. This one has 3 batteries in it, and they are wired in a 12-volt fashion, so this is a 12-volt bus. And I'm also running the cabling for my DC to DC converter, and I'll be using this little area here where all the wires run down the bus, which is part of the reason I have this out as well. But what I'm doing is I'm cleaning off all my contacts. See, there's actually copper underneath all this goop. But I'm going to clean this up and at least try to find my signal wires for my converter and hopefully get this thing to run. No one really knows why it's not cranking.
Well, that's weird. This bus doesn't run, but apparently some parts of it work. He must be testing the battery out right now, guys. Let's go see what he's up to. Hey, what's happening in here?
I'm trying to get this bus to start, but it's not cooperating. It's not supposed to do that, is it?
I think that thing might drive down the road.
Oh no, I'm not doing it. So all that effort to get this bus to crank was solely so I can make sure this DC to DC inverter is properly operating. Because what it does is it charges off of the alternator and batteries of the bus and charges our house battery back here. But you gotta have the truck running to make sure that it is running.
Appears to be working. Those are green lights.
Green means go. Y'all, I would say the sun has set. It's getting kind of dark. I'm a mess. I'm absolutely filthy. I've been crawling around underneath this bus all day long. What I achieved in doing that is finishing the wiring for that DC to DC inverter, because it has those two wires coming out of the side of it have to run all the way to the front of the bus. I managed to do that. I didn't take you along for the ride because frankly, I don't like being under these buses and I get out as fast as I can. I also started mocking up my tank holding system. Very rough mocking. We'll get it finished up tomorrow. Until then, I'm gonna go find Kelsey. I think she's hiding in there playing her flute. I've been hearing her all day. Oh man, them skies are dark, but I gotta keep going. It's not raining right now, and the neighbor's cutting grass, so it must mean it's time to work. As y'all can see, I'm starting to fab up my rack system for these tanks. What I'm utilizing is Unistrut, which is this, or Super Strut as they call it, as well as all thread. And right now I'm just positioning things to make sure I have all my holes right, because once you drill a hole in the top of this tank for that dump pipe right there and that vent pipe, it's kind of permanent. Let's keep going. Y'all, I'd say it's starting to get dark. I really can't see under this bus anymore. I've been under here almost all day. I've worked on the inside on a couple little plumbing fittings, but for the most part, I've been under here, and I want to show you what I've been working on. These little art pieces, there's several of them. Two of them are gonna hold up this black tank. This is gonna be our vent. That's gonna be the toilet dump, if you will. And then I've completed this freshwater or gray water tank. And there's 3 of them that go down it as well. The point of to the 2 bars is the bottom one's gonna be holding up the weight, and then this is gonna be pressing in to the top of it to keep the tank from shifting. And there's also gonna be supports down the bottom. That right there is some insulation foam, like you would insulate your water pipes when it's gonna freeze. What I'll do is I'll wrap each of these beams in that as well to keep any sort of friction for these tanks. So once it's all done and locked together, it should be quite sturdy. Unfortunately, I've got to start back on it tomorrow. I'm just out of energy and sunlight. See you tomorrow, big bus. Good morning. I was at the beach a couple of days ago. This weather is crazy up here, but it's time to get back to working on the bus. It is a little cold this morning, and I'm not really inclined to want to roll around on the ground underneath this thing. So I'm gonna be working inside this morning until it gets a little warmer outside. I've got several little outlet boxes and wall paneling to attach today. You know, finishing touches. See what we can do.
Well, guys, it would appear that another day is getting away from us. It's summer, so the sun is still pretty high up there, but it's about 5 o'clock, and I think it's safe to say that we're not leaving today. You know, there's not actually any sort of time frame on these buses, and reasonably one couldn't expect Shane to do it any faster, but he tends to, at the end of these projects, put timelines on himself and stress himself out over it. I think that might be the case. How's it going down here, babe?
Are you criticizing me for holding myself to a high standard?
Maybe a little. Maybe a non-human standard.
I'm going as fast as I can. We are making progress though. I'm running the gray line, so that's what this is here. And this is the rack that holds the black tank. And I'm adjusting it. I'll be bringing the black tank up to meet these pipes, which I'm gonna cut shorter than they actually are.
Looking good, babe. What does the inside look like?
A wreck.
Oh boy, he wasn't kidding. We'll get it all cleaned up, guys.
You guys hear her playing her flute? I can. I think she's calling me home. It's dark. I'm pooped. It looks like a wreck in here, but it's actually much more finished than it was. You just gotta make a mess to finish, unfortunately. I did manage to do all of these coverings on the wire run. That wire run is quite interesting. I haven't really seen one quite like this in a bus before. It made a lot of decisions quite difficult. Like placement of the shower, for instance. It had to be in the middle of the bus because I couldn't make that a waterproof wall with that wire run coming through it. Little things mean a lot. But I've got a lot done today. And it was kind of all over, so you guys didn't get to see a lot of the footage. I've been working on the plumbing here, connecting the plumbing for the bathroom. I worked under the bus for many hours building those racks and getting those tanks ready to be mounted. I'm gonna get some more done tomorrow, but for now, I'm gonna go listen to Kelsey play her flute. Another beautiful morning. We have a 10% chance of rain all day. I hope the odds are in my favor. I'm gonna be moving towards getting this thing completed today too. Maybe today is the day. Unfortunately, I know I'm gonna have to go to town because I need one part. I don't have a truck here, so the only thing we have is the Love Hut. So every time we have to go to town, we have to move the entire rig. It's quite the process. Fortunately, this location, I've had a lot of parts delivered, but there's a couple days delay when you're doing that, and I'm down to the end, so every part that I'm missing keeps me from finishing something. Let's see what I can finish without these parts. We made it back from the parts store. I wanted to show you guys this plumbing system. I find it to be rather important. It's kind of a pain to put water in a moving vehicle, and there's lots of different ways of doing it, but this is definitely my favorite. So this is an RV grade pump. This is going to produce residential level pressure. This is going to get us 3.5 gallons per minute out of this thing, which is nice. It means you get a good shower out of it. It does mean you drain your tank a little fast, so it's important you use low flow nozzles throughout the rig to really help compensate for that. Another component here is this part, and that is going to be our accumulator. And basically it's full of air, and it's got this pressure pad. It's a cylinder with a pad on the bottom, and the pad is pressurized. So what happens is this pump is pumping water, doom, 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 and it pumps into the system. Without this, that hammering effect will come through your nozzles, which will create a sporadic flow out. Like in your sink, it'll and that's undesirable. Also, if you notice, there's this beautiful piece of flexible pipe in here. I use the ones with the mesh in it, and that keeps it from binding. The clear ones will bind on you, particularly if you make an angle like this. And you can also buy 90 degrees, but the point of this is basically a shock absorber. So these things rattle and vibrate a lot, and if you direct connect them like I did on this side, which has a cutoff, so you can clean out your mesh trap here for any debris that comes out of your tank. You want to be able to cut the flow from your tank off so you can maintain this, or honestly just work on your water system if you need to replace the pump or whatever. But this hose allows all of the vibration this is producing to not pass on to the rest of your plumbing. And when you bury it in a box like this, sometimes you get some quietness out of it. I've also seen people, they'll build insulated, padded boxes for the pumps to help alleviate the vibration and sound. Personally, it's just kind of part of the gimmick for me, getting running water on the road, but to each their own. I've got a whole bucket full of parts, and I got more stuff to do. Let's keep going. I'm racing the sun. Well, I'm gonna say it's real dark out there. I'm pooped. I did get this cute little outlet put in. I've got the refrigerator installed and wired up. I'm not testing it yet. I don't want to leave it unattended. I like to test things when I'm around, so I don't want to leave it plugged in overnight. I also trimmed out this couch today. Finished doing the install of the trim boards on that side of the door. I reinstalled the bus trim around this door, as well as I got this plumbing system looking fancy. If you notice, there's a round circle down there now, and that is actually a shower drain. I found it in the barn, and I thought that would make a good drain for my water box, and I do believe it will. I forgot to show you guys earlier these two pipes as well. This top one here, I'm utilizing it as a pressure fill, so you can attach a hose pipe there to that PEX line on the outside and fill it up with high pressure if you don't want to do a gravity fed for whatever reason. That also doubles as the vent line, so generally you would take this one and run it back up, and there's a third hole there that you could just attach a vent to, so it allows the gurgle or the bubble as you fill with your gravity line. And then you would use that attachment point to pressurize your system and bypass the tank. But I like having all of the options in case something arises, because you never know where you're going to be or the situation at hand. So there's a secondary hose pipe connection out there that actually pressurizes the lines. I also have one-way valves in the places that they're needed, so water doesn't go places I don't want it to go. I'm gonna get some more done tomorrow. I'm pooped. Wonder if Kelsey's playing her flute again. I can't hear it. Good morning, Love Hut, and good morning, you big old bus. Today, just like every day before it, I'm gonna try to finish this thing. The first thing I'm working on today is, this is a new emergency hatch. We are putting it in place of that one. The latch on it is broken, so I'm gonna take it off and replace it. We wanted to leave it because future use for this bus might have a rooftop deck installed on it at some point, so they didn't want to delete it or make any final decisions, so we just need to make it roadworthy. So a new lid was necessary. I'm gonna get that fixed up and then keep moving forward. And just like that, it's in. These things are super easy to take in and out, which makes them super easy to break too. You just take out one of these and one on this side, and these little pins just pop out. There's springs to keep tension on this thing because it actuates left and right. On to the next thing. Hello.
How's it going in here?
Holy. Saintly. It's going. I'm making this bus saintly. I'm telling Harry Potter jokes. I'm tired.
Clearly. We're almost to the end though.
You want to see? So I'm mounting this little control box for the inverter converter system. What's going right there?
So basically what that does is it allows you to change over from the 12 volt system to the 120 volt system.
It produces 120 volts. The 12 volt remains, and you have the 120 system added to it.
Still quite a bit of cleaning up to do in here, guys, but we are oh so very, very close. Dixie, I think our job is to get everything cleaned up outside so that maybe we can leave here tomorrow. We'll see.
All right, y'all, it's time. I've got a couple things I got to put on this tank first. I've already glued in this piece of PVC, and that's what this dump station dump valve is going to be attaching to. I also have a quickie flush, as they call it. It's basically just a hose pipe extender. And all it is we're going to drill out a hole, and this is going to mount here. And when you connect a hose pipe to this, basically just has a bunch of holes going in every direction. So it just flushes the whole thing out. And that way, once you dump all the bulk of everything, you can really give it a good cleaning. So a solid upgrade to a black tank. This particular tank, also we're gonna be using an RV metering system, so it has the sensors in the side of it as well that I installed several days ago. And then the nerve-wracking thing, these fittings. So I'm about to put in holes to fit this grommet, as well as a 1.5 inch size grommet that's gonna go in the top. Y'all hang on, I get one try. All right, and there you go. That one's for our solid dump. That one's for our vent that goes up to our roof. And there's your clean out. I just gotta let this caulk dry. And we'll start working on getting this thing hung. Back to it.
Ooh, guys. Those skies do not look pretty. I actually just got an alert that we are under tornado watch.
What?
Yeah, fun times.
I thought it got weird.
Weird and cold. How are you doing over here, babe?
Better now, it's much cooler outside. You got here just in time, check it out. I got the tank in place.
Yay.
I just put it in here.
That's a really, really big step, guys. That means we're almost there.
It's the last thing.
This is the gray water tank, and then that black one there is obviously the black water.
With these, so the connections that I added earlier, they're made of rubber, and then my PVC is protruding out of the bus, so that is a solid point. So I'm putting in these rubber boots at all my connection points, and you can even see it on that tank, because you don't know what the road holds ahead. And sometimes that's a giant stick in the middle of the road, and if that were to wedge up in here and rip these tanks out, you want them to go away. You don't want them to stay with the bus. You want it all to break and to go away, and then you redo it. So that's the point of the rubber boots.
Almost there, guys. Now we just got to get this thing cleaned up. Maybe we do that in the morning, though. Or maybe not. We'll see if these skies hold out.
If there's tornadoes coming, I'm not clean. I know for a lot of people, taking the drain lines over these frame rails is quite the puzzle. And it was for me too. This is the solution I came up with. I utilize these rubber fittings on all of the drain system. They just allow flexibility and to allow for vibration. There's a lot of vibration that happens on these buses. But our drain is on, this is the main beam for the bus. It's on the inside. So all I did was plumb it, and then I used a flex line to come over this frame and into this. And because we're below the level of the drain, it's really impossible for the drain to back up. It does have a little bit of a hump that it's got to go through, but eventually gravity will push it on over and into the main drain tube, which I've hung this one at an angle, so as it heads to the gray tank at the front of the bus, it actually slopes and allows water to take off.
That appears to be running water, guys. Oh, guys, it is very, very, very dark out there, and not quite finished in here, but really, really close.
It is finished. It's not finished. I'm tired though, and my Goonies light broke. I think it means it's time to go to bed.
I think it's definitely time for you to come inside, Shane. You'll finish it up tomorrow.
We will finish it tomorrow, and then we'll say goodbye to the bus. Goodbye, bus.
Guys, the jacks on the Love Hut are up. The house is all packed up and ready to go, and Shane's putting the finishing touches on this bus. I think all we got left now is just to do some cleaning up and shoot some videos for the bus owner and for all of you to see on Wednesday. It's time to go, y'all. Oh my goodness, Dixie, we're finally moving.
Oh, I'm so dehydrated. Oh.
Guys, we are finally on the road with just enough time to make our way into the woods and find a campsite. I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of what this guy has accomplished while we're here.
I'm ready to go sleep under some trees without sirens driving by. How about you?
Yes, yes. Into the wilderness we go. Oh yeah, that's better. Those skies aren't though. Ugh, it looks like it's gonna get nasty tonight. Yuck, guys. It's pretty gross out there. It's smelling good in here though. What are you making over here, babe?
Cast iron skillet pizza. Thanks, Jesse. That was your mushroom.
Oh, guys, that was so much work, but we are so happy with the final product, and we hope that Amber and the boys are happy with the product too. I think they will be. You did pretty good, babe.
Thanks. And if you think I did pretty good, why don't you give me a call and maybe I can help you do something weird on wheels.
That's right, guys. You can contact us at LoveHut4Life@gmail.com or by checking out our other social media channels like Facebook and Instagram. Both of those have a direct message feature where you can contact both of us at the same time.
I do want to say thank you to each and every one of you that watched this video and the hundreds before it. If you're not one of those that hasn't watched the hundreds before it, you should join that club.
That's right, guys. Hit those subscribe buttons, thumbs up, and once again, comment below because that is the only way that we know who to be grateful for. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Have a good one. Oh yeah, tune in on Wednesday for a full tour of this gorgeous bus.
Bye, y'all.